Farewell to the groves and the valleys of Ireland, farewell to the girls of this country all round. May their hearts be as merry as ever I would wish them, when far away on the ocean I'm bound. My mother is old and my father quite feeble. To leave their own country it grieves them full sore. Oh, the tears down their cheeks in great drops they are flowing, to think they must die upon a foreign shore. But what matter to me where my bones may be buried, if in peace and contentment I can spend my life? Oh, the green fields of Canada that daily are blooming, that I'll find an end to my misery and strife. Then it's pack up your sea stores, consider no longer. $10 a week is in very bad pay, with no taxes or ties to devour up your wages when you're on the green fields of America. The lint dams are dry and the looms all lie broken. The cooper he's gone and the winders of creels. Away o'er the ocean go journeymen tailors, and fiddlers who flaked out the old mountain reels. But sure I mind the time when old Ireland was flourishing, and lots of our tradesmen did work for good pay. But since our manufactories have crossed the Atlantic, sure now we must follow to America. Farewell to the dances and homes now deserted, when toe plates struck lightning in splanks from the floor. The crings and the paves of the hobnails on flagstones, the tears of the old folk and shouts of encore. For the landlord and bailiff in vile combination has forced us from hearthstone and homestead away. May the crowbar brigade all be doomed to damnation when we're on the green fields of America. The timber grows thick on the slopes of Columbia, with Douglas in splendour 200 feet tall. The sturgeon and salmon block streamlet and river. The high rocky mountains look down over all. On the prairie and plain now the wheat waves all golden. The maple gives sugar to sweeten your tea. Oh, you won't want for corn cob way back in Saskatchewan when you're on the green fields of America. Then if you grow tired of pleasure and plenty, of fruit from the orchard and fish from the foam, there's health and good hunting way out in wild forests, where caribou ramble and buffalo roam. And it's now to conclude and to finish my duty, if ever friendless Irishman chances my way, With the best in the house I will greet him in plenty, at home on the green fields of America. So it's pack up your sea stores, consider no longer. $10 a week is in very bad pay, with no taxes or tithes to devour up your wages when you're on the green fields of America. My horsey was white, although at first he was grey. He took great delight in travelling by night and by day. His travels were great if I could but the half of them tell. He was rode in the garden by Adam the day that he fell. When banished from Eden he strayed and has since lost his way. With all his fatigues, it's no wonder my horsey is grey. At the time of the flood he was rode on by many a spark, and his courage was great when Noah took him into the ark. At the Babylon plains he conquered that part of the globe, and all his fatigue it would weary the patience of Job. At the battle of Issus my horsey was first in the fray, and with bold Alexander commander he carried the day. My horse got no ease from fatigue when his rider did fall. He was mounted again by brave Scipio, who did him extol. On that great day at Zama, fierce Hannibal fled in dismay, and the captains of Carthage my horse threw them into the sea. In green Caledonia there ne'er were two lovers so enraptured and happy in each other's arms than burns the sweet bard and is in Highland Mary, as softly and sweetly sang o'er charms. Long may his song so enchanting and bonny be heard with delight on his own native plains, and long may the fame of his own Highland Mary be faithful to love in such heart-rending strains. Oh, it was a May day, and the flowers of the summer were blooming in wildness, all lovely and fair, when our two lovers met in a grove of green bowers that grew on the banks of the cool winding Ayr. And oh, to them both 'twas a meeting full tender, for it was the last for a while they could hae, and in love's purest raptures they feasted together, till the red setting sun told the close of the day. Oh, Mary, fond Mary, exclaimed her true lover, you carry this heart to the Highlands with thee. Every bush, every bank, every Bonnán green bower shall tell of the love of my Mary and me. My life's fondest treasure, my ain Highland lassie, to you I forever am constant and true, for the heart that's now beating so hard in this bosom is a heart that can never love any but you. Oh, dinna stay lang in the Highlands, my lassie. Oh, dinna bide lang in the Highlands from me, for I love you sincerely. I love you o'er dearly. To be happy for long, my dear Mary, from thee. I will nae bide lang in the Highlands, my laddie. I will nae bide lang, for you will nae be there. For although I have friends I love well in the Highlands, then I love best on the cool winding Ayr. Then he kissed her fond lips, then 'twere redder than roses, and he strained her lily white breast to his heart, and the tears fell like dewdrops at e'en on her bosom. And he cried, my fond lover, alas, we must part. Then farewell, cried Burns, and he flew from his Mary. And farewell, cried Mary, she could nae say mair. Oh, 'twas little a kenn'd and parted forever. When they parted that night by the cool winding Ayr, But the green summer saw but a few sunny hours, till she in the bloom of her beauty and pride was laid in the grave like a lovely young flower. In cold green a kirkyard on the banks of the Clyde, and burns the sweet bard of his in Caledonia, lamenting dismay with many a sad strain, and sore did he mourn for his dear Highland lassie, and ne'er did his heart love so dearly again. So bring me the roses, and bring me the lilies, and bring me the daisies that grow on the dale. Bring me the calm of a fine summer's evening, and bring me the breath of the sweet scented gale. Bring me the sigh of a fond lover's bosom, and bring me the tear from a true lover's eye, and I'll pour them all down o'er your grave, Highland Mary, for the sake of thy burns, who so dearly loved thee. Too long I've been weeping where hedges are dreeping, the strength of my cellar, the clear mountain stream. One night in my slumbers I lay sleeping, Napoleon appeared to me in a dream, saying, rise up, my friend, from the clouds of destruction that Erin lay under for many a long year. For religion you've suffered great shame and scorn, but now for the future, brave boys, do not fear. On the shores we did stand, where Napoleon did land, for he was a hero we longed for to see. The bells of the chapel resounded to welcome Napoleon to Erin The Green. Over hills and deep valleys, o'er mountains or alleys, the bells of old abbeys so loudly did peal. The three waves that thundered as we stood and wondered, and longed for a hero like Owen O'Neill. For if he was alive, he'd have welcomed Napoleon, and these are the words I am sure he would say. O Cade Meal na Fáilte, my friend, you are welcome to raise up the faith that will never decay. On the shores we did stand, where Napoleon did land, for he was the hero we longed for to see. The bells of the chapel resounded to welcome Napoleon to Erin The Green. 'Twas break of day, but no bittern's horn filled the waking morn with its hollow boom. For I found him prone on a bare flag blown by the lost shore lone, where he met his doom. His legs were sunk in the slime and slunk, a hostage held in the fangs of frost. O men of knowledge, lament his going, for want of liquor his life was lost. O yellow bird, 'tis my bitter grief, I'd as liear leaf that my race was run. No hunger's tooth, but a parching drouth, and has sapped your youth after all your fun. Far worse to me than the sack of Troy that my darling boy with the frost was slain. No wanter woe did his wings bestow as he drank the flow of a brown bog drain. Degrading vile was the way you died, my bitter and beauteous of glowing sheen. 'Twas at dawn each day that your pipe you'd play, as content you lay on the hillock green. Oh, my great fatigue and my sorrow sore, that your tale is higher than heart or hand. And the tipplers say as they pass this way, and he drunk his fill, he would not be denned. Oh, bitter and bright is my thousand woes, that the rooks and crows are all pleasure bound, with the rats and mice as they cross the ice to indulge in vice at your funeral mound. Had word reached me of your woeful plight, on the ice I'd smite and the water free. You'd have all that lake for the thirst to slake, and we'd hold no wake for the Bonnán Buí. 'Tis not the blackbird that I'm bewailing, or thrush assailing the blossom braes, but my bitter and yellow, that hearty fellow, who has got my hue and my wilful ways. By the lost shore bank he forever drank, and the sorrow sank in the rolling wave. Come sun or rain, every drop I'll drain, for the cellar's empty beyond the grave. As I went walking one morning in May, I spied lovely Annie making her hay, and as she moved onward, the grass on her side threw a glimpse in the brushes. My Annie I spied, I went to the North Highlands to work all that May, and when I returned, she was married and away. Though she swore to be faithful, both constant and true, but now she's gone and left me, oh, what will I do? Far better transported, far better for my heart pines in sadness when Annie's away. She was my first and false true love, and 'tis lately I knew that the fonder I loved her, the falser she grew. Some people, they say, love, it has me led blind. My master, he threatens to have me confined, that he'll send me to Bedlam, place me in strong chains, for your sake, lovely Annie, I suffer these pains. Come, all you young fellows, take a warning from me, and never build your nest on the top of a tree, for the green leaves will wither, and the branches decay, and the roots they will torment you when the leaves fade away. Let the king take the queen, and the queen take the knave. We are a jolly company of stalwart, stout and brave. Here's to you, Tam Brown, here's to you with all my heart. We'll have another glass or two this night before we part. Here's to you, Tam Brown. The queen takes the knave, and the knave takes the 10. We are a jolly company of stout and stalwart men. Here's to you, Tam Brown, here's to you with all my heart. We'll have another glass or two this night before we part. Here's to you, Tam Brown. The knave takes the 10, and the 10 takes the 9. And since we're all together, boys, good health to yours and mine. Here's to you, Tam Brown, here's to you with all my heart. We'll have another glass or two this night before we part. Here's to you, Tam Brown. Let the 10 take the 9, and the 9 take the 8. We are a jolly company of heroes tall and straight. Here's to you, Tam Brown, here's to you with all my heart. We'll have another glass or two this night before we part. Here's to you, Tam Brown. Let the 9 take the 8, and the 8 take the 7. And since we are together, boys, I think we'll head for heaven. Here's to you, Tam Brown, here's to you with all my heart. We'll have another glass or two this night before we part. Here's to you, Tam Brown. Let the 8 take the 7, and the 7 take the 6. And when the drinking's over, boys, we'll hobble home on sticks. Here's to you, Tam Brown, here's to you with all my heart. We'll have another glass or two this night before we part. Here's to you, Tam Brown. Let the 7 take the 6, and the 6 take the 5. And since we're all together, boys, we'll keep the fun alive. Here's to you, Tam Brown, here's to you with all my heart. We'll have another glass or two this night before we part. Here's to you, Tam Brown. Let the 6 take the 5, and the 5 take the 4. And since we're all together, boys, we'll tap and call for more. Here's to you, Tam Brown, here's to you with all my heart. We'll have another glass or two this night before we part. Here's to you, Tam Brown. Let the 5 take the 4, and the 4 take the 3. We are a jolly company, we'll drink till break of day. Here's to you, Tam Brown, here's to you with all my heart. We'll have another glass or two this night before we part. Here's to you, Tam Brown. The 4 takes the tray, and the tray takes the juice. And since we're all together, boys, we'll drink the barley juice. Here's to you, Tam Brown. Here's to you with all my heart. We'll have another glass or two this night before we part. Here's to you, Tam Brown. The tray takes the juice, and the juice takes the ace. We are a jolly company, all full of fun and grace. Here's to you, Tam Brown. Here's to you with all my heart. We'll have another glass or two this night before we part. Here's to you, Tam Brown. Let the juice take the ace, and the ace take them all. And since we're all together, boys, we'll make another call. Here's to you, Tam Brown. Here's to you with all my heart. We'll have another glass or two this night before we part. Here's to you, Tam Brown. When the small birds of the outer air they sport with one another, then why should you and me forbear to sport all gay together? Good music, sir, should make one dance, unless their limbs would fail them. I fear your wear some damp must bear, or surely you'd reveal them. For it's surely no disgrace to promote the human race, and concupiscence preempts all procreation. For naked we came on this earth, and naked we'll go under. So why wear clothes and costly hose to hide the heights of wonder? Great Adam, when he wed his Eve, no ring she wore or diamond, but naked they did sport and play all round the horn of Hymen. Flesh to flesh and fleece to fleece, and their numbers did increase, and did multiply and spread throughout each nation. O maiden fair beyond compare, don't talk with tongue of fire, for holy writ will never quit to purge us of desire. And chastity's a beacon bright that shines throughout the ages, to guide us on the darkest night when the storm of passion rages. So the narrow path I'll hold up to heaven's gates of gold, and denounce the devil dark and all damnation. Sin's free will is a gift divine for man's emancipation. Free love's a draught of Cupid's wine to tease us with temptation. These laws and rules were made for fools, each day they're growing stricter. So come with me, we'll sport in glee, let Venus be the victor. And if Bacchus lends a hand, we will sport throughout the land, and we'll fornicate with fervour and elation. When David fell from God and grace, no armies did applaud him, and none were saved in that depraved and sinful city Sodom. And look you then to story Troy, what led to its destruction, But vengeance for the crime of rape and ravishing seduction. Diddly-dum-pa-deedle-da, diddly-doodle-deedle-da, diddly-doodle-umpa-roodle-a-diddly-doo. King Solomon at monarch wise would thrice 300 lovers. He had wives and queens and concubines, as the scripture it uncovers. Let curving breasts be your fond quest, and yield to female charms, and lie one long and lusty night all naked in my arms. Diddly-dum-pa-doodle-dum, diddly-doodle-doodle-dee, diddly-dum-pa-doodle-ally-umpa-dee-dee-oo. Begone, you slut, heaven is shut to all such fornicators. To strumpets, streels, and harlots all likewise abominators. Matrimony was God's command and matrimonial station, and with these words they then withdrew. This was their conversation. Diddly-dum-pa-deedle-da, diddly-dum-pa-deedle-doo, diddly-doodle-eedle-darry-umpa-dero. As I went a-walking down by the hill town, the lovely blue mountains that did me surround, 'twas there I spied a fair one. To me she looked grand. She was gathering wild roses by the banks of the Bann. I stepped up to her, and this I did say: since nature has formed us to meet in this way, since nature has formed us, sure here is my hand, and we'll both roam together by the banks of the Bann. Then into a corner where the change it took place, I knew by the flush that arose in her face. The feet they fell from her in the soft bed of sand, and she fell into my arms on the banks of the Bann. Now, since you have wronged me, won't you tell me your name? When the baby is born, I can give it the same. My name is Willie Archer, as you understand, and my daily occupations on the banks of the Bann. But I cannot marry you, for I'm apprentice bound to the spinning and the weaving in Rathryland town. But when my time is over, sure here is my hand, and we will both then get wed by the banks of the Bann. So come all my pretty fair ones, take a warning from me. Do not go out a-courting by 1, 2, or 3. Do not go out a-courting by 3, 2, or 1, for you may meet with Willie Archer on the banks of the Bann. Ye banks and braes and streams around the castle of Montgomery, green be your leaves and fair your flowers, your waters never umlay. Their summer first unfolds her robes, and there the longest tarry, and there I bade a fond farewell to my own Highland Mary. How sweetly bloomed the gay green birch, how rich the apple blossom, as underneath its tender shade I pressed her to my bosom. The golden hours on angels' wings flew me and my dearie, oh, dearer far than life or light was my own Highland Mary. With many a vow and fond embrace, our parting was full tender, and pledging off to meet again, we tore ourselves asunder. But a fell death's untimely frost that nipped my friend so early, now greens the grass and coals the clay that wraps my Highland Mary. Oh, pale, pale now the rosy lips I oft have kissed so fondly, and gone for aye the sparkling glance that dwelt on me so kindly. I'm mouldering in a silent dust, the heart that loved me dearly, yet still within a bosom's core there dwells my Highland Mary. Good friends and companions together combine, come fill up your glasses and toast them with mine. We will drink and be merry, good drinks and refrain, for we may or might never all meet here again. Here's a health to the company and one to my lass. We will drink and be merry, all out of one glass. We will drink and be merry, good drinks and refrain, for we may or might never all meet here again. Here's a health to the wee lass that I love so well, for style and for beauty none can her excel. She smiles on my countenance as she sits on my knee. Oh, there's none in this wide world as happy as me. Here's a health to the company and one to my lass. We will drink and be merry, all out of one glass. We will drink and be merry, good drinks and refrain, that we may or might never all meet here again. Our ship lies at anchor and ready to dock. May the Lord send her safely without shake or shock. And as we are sailing to the land of the free, oh, I'll never forget your great kindness to me. Here's a health to the company and one to my lass. We will drink and be merry all out of one glass. We will drink and be merry, good drinks and refrain, that we may or might never all meet here again. I have read that old proverb, I have read it so true. My love, she's as fair as the bright morning dew. I have read that old proverb, I am sure so have you. So good friends and companions, I bid you adieu. Here's the health to the company and one to my lass. We will drink and be merry, all out of one glass. We will drink and be merry, good drinks and refrain, for we may or might never all meet here again.